Remember Sammy Jankis? I'd just become an investigator when I came across Sammy. Mr. Samuel R. Jankis. Strangest case ever. You know, the guy's a 58-year-old, semi-retired accountant. He and his wife had been in this car accident. Nothing too serious. But he's acting funny. He can't get a handle on what's going on. The doctors find some possible damage to the hippocampus. Nothing conclusive.
Try and keep your chin straight.
But Sammy can't remember anything for more than a couple of minutes. Can't work, can't do shit. The medical bills pile up. His wife calls the insurance company, and I get sent in. Now, this is my first big claims investigation, so I really check into it.
Can I get you some
Sammy can think just fine, but he can't make any new memories. He can only remember things for a couple of minutes.
This is Mr. Shelby.
He'd watch TV, but anything longer than a couple of minutes was too confusing. He couldn't remember how it began. I like commercials. They were short.
Sammy, it's time for my shot.
The crazy part was that this guy, who couldn't even follow the plot of Green Acres anymore, could do the most complicated things as long as he learned them before the accident, and as long as he kept his mind on what he was doing. Now, the doctors assure me that there's a real condition called anterograde memory loss, or short-term memory loss. It's rare, but legit. But every time I see him, I catch this look. This slight look of recognition. But he says he can't remember me at all.
Sammy, it's okay. I got it. Hi. Mr. Shelby. Thank you for coming.
Now, I can read people, and I'm thinking, bad actor. So now I'm suspicious, and I'll order more tests. Sammy couldn't pick up any new skills at all. But I find something in my research. Conditioning. Sammy should still be able to learn through repetition. It's how you learn stuff, like riding a bike. You just get better through practice. It's a completely different part of the brain from the short-term memory. So I have the doctors test Sammy's response to conditioning.
Just pick up any 3 objects.
That's a test? Hey, where were you guys when I did my CPA? Sorry. Ta-da. Oh! What the fuck?
It's a test, Sammy.
We'll test this, you fucking quack.
Some of the objects were electrified. They'd give him a small shock. They kept repeating the test, always with the same objects electrified. The point was to see if Sammy could learn to avoid the electrified objects, not by memory, but by instinct. They kept testing Sammy for months. Always with the same objects carrying the electrical charge.
Oh! What the fuck?
It's a test, Sammy.
Test this, you fucking quack.
Even with total short-term memory loss, Sammy should have learned to instinctively stop picking up the wrong objects. All the previous cases responded to conditioning. Sammy didn't respond at all. It was enough to suggest that his condition was psychological, not physical. We turned down his claim on the grounds that he wasn't covered for mental illness. His wife got stuck with the bills, and I got a big promotion. Conditioning didn't work for Sammy, so he became helpless. But it works for me. I live the way Sammy couldn't. Habit and routine make my life possible. Conditioning. Acting on instinct. Sammy's wife was crippled by the cost of supporting him and fighting the company's decision. But it wasn't the money that got to her. I never said that Sammy was faking.
Listen, I have an idea, Sammy. Sammy, I have an idea. I want you to
Just
do for me,
that his
okay?
problem was mental,
I want you
not
to
physical.
have a pen in your pocket, okay? You're gonna have a pen in your pocket.
But she couldn't
You're gonna
understand.
have a pad like that in your pocket.
I did something wrong.
You did something wrong. Now we're gonna deal with it. We'll figure out. We're gonna try a little harder.
And she looks into his eyes and sees the same person. And if it's not a physical problem, he should just
Go anywhere, Sammy.
snap out of it.
Ellen called.
Ellen called.
Ellen called. Ellen can't call,
Okay,
Sammy.
I'm
Ellen
so
can't
sorry.
go.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'm sorry.
Harder.
So good old Leonard Shelby from the insurance company gives her the seat of doubt, just like he gave it to the doctors. But I never said that he was faking. I never said that. Sammy, what if I'd done something like Sammy? I didn't tell you? What happened to Sammy and his wife? Well, she came to see me at my office. I thought she was just trying to catch me off guard, so I didn't tell her what I really thought, but I never said that he was faking. Just that his condition was mental, not physical. I found out later that she went home and gave Sammy his final exam.
Sammy, it's time for my shot.
She knew beyond a doubt that he loved her. So she found a way to test him.
Sammy. It's time for my shot.
She really thought she'd call his bluff.
There you go.
Or she just didn't want to live with the things she'd put him through.
Sammy. It's time for my shot.
That won't hurt.
She went into a coma and never recovered. Sammy couldn't understand or explain what happened. He's been in a home ever since. He doesn't even know that his wife is dead. I was wrong about Sammy, and I was wrong about his wife. She wasn't interested in the money. She just needed to understand his problem. His brain didn't respond to conditioning, but he wasn't a con man. You know, when she looked into his eyes, she thought he could be the same person. When I looked into his eyes, I thought I saw recognition. Now I know, you fake it. If you think you're supposed to recognize somebody, you just pretend to. You bluff it to get a pat on the head from the doctors. You bluff it to seem less of a freak. What drug dealer?